So my question was about gratitude and joy in practice. And I know that a number of practices actively focus on cultivating a feeling of joy or focusing on the feeling of gratitude, and that other practices focus elsewhere and allow those feelings to come naturally through. And so yeah, I'm just kind of curious about the group's general feelings of gratitude in practice.
His question is to the group. And what are the group's feelings about gratitude in practice?
In
practice. He said he's aware that some practices focus on activating gratitude or activating joy, and other practices focus elsewhere but allow the gratitude and joy to develop and arise naturally.
What are these practices that cultivate gratitude?
Darshan.
What ones do you know, Tyree?
Huh?
Let's ask Tyree which ones he knows.
Yeah, I'm not sure I know about that.
Darshan cultivates gratitude.
Darshan.
Yes, and so the example that was brought that comes to my mind. I've not personally practiced much or any real Vipassana meditation, but I do have a Zen background. And I have a friend who's practiced a lot of Vipassana, and he's described a meditation that they do regularly of focusing on that upwelling of positivity that occurs. Whereas my Zen experience is simply be present, and those feelings do happen sometimes, but it's not something that you're intentionally cultivating as you sit.
It comes as a natural response to meditation.
I think the different practices are for different folks at different times and places. The Sufis cultivate gratitude and ecstatic feeling in their practices of spinning and dancing, singing zikr. So they are looking to excite that upwelling of gratitude and connection to the beloved. That's a kind of thing that some people really, really, really like, and maybe a different kind of person might be a little irritated by it somehow, or not akin to wanting to excite the emotions that way. I like them all, personally.
All practices?
Yeah, they're all good.
Me too. Yeah, for me, whenever I sit down and do any form of practice, as soon as I feel the infusion of energy in my system, I just naturally feel grateful. It's automatic. So I think I agree with, was it Spug?
Spug the cat.
In the way of it being part of sitting or doing yoga. It's inherent in the practice and what is produced.
I see. That's useful. Thank you.
I want to see your face again. Oh, goody good. And how do you spell your name?
It is spelled Tyree.
Tyree.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Tyree, I have not met you. My name is Garuda.
It's nice to meet you. I believe we've spoken a few days ago during these meetings when I was at Heaven.
Yeah, in the meetings, but yeah, okay. Where are you now?
Right now I am cat sitting for my friend. Here are the cats.
Where is he?
He's cat sitting for a friend.
In Chicago?
I believe he's in Santa Fe, right?
Yeah,
He didn't say-
I'm back in Santa Fe.
Oh, there you are. Oh, there's the cat. Hey, Spud. There's two cats. Yeah. We love the kitties.
Mr. Ya, do you have something to talk about?
Yeah. Today, I've begun thinking about all my days as a set of 84,000 moments, 84,000 seconds. And so when I wake up, I think to myself, how long can I stay awake before I have to remember that I'm doing this practice of staying awake for as many moments as I can. So 84,000 seconds a day, 84,000 moments, 84,000 opportunities to be present.
He's taking on a practice of
Staying awake.
Realizing he has 84,000 moments to stay awake, 84,000 moments to be present. And how long does he have to stay awake before he remembers? Is that right?
He basically
Before
said,
I
how long
remember
can
it.
he maintain staying awake before he remembers that he's not awake?
You understand what that means?
I don't understand that.
He's wanting to see how long it takes he can stabilize.
Are you talking about like sleeping in awake or just conscious?
Conscious.
Conscious how?
Let him tell it again.
Maintaining presence
Meaning
in the
being in
moment.
the witness.
Yeah.
Of the mind. Okay, so how long do you have to be in the witness of the mind for what?
How long can he stay in the witness of the mind before he realizes
He's not
he's
in it.
not, and then he remembers again? It sounds like he wants to make the gap in between less and less.
That's exactly it, is to lessen the gaps.
I don't think it's a doing thing, I think it's a being thing. Witness of the mind is a state of mind. And once it's a depth of mind. It's not the surface, it's not the middle. It's a depth of mind. And when you're in that depth of mind, that's just what you are. And there's nothing to think about or realize because you're just there. So,
In the beginning, somebody might take on a practice, however, to be in the witness of the mind rather than getting carried off by the thoughts of the mind.
rather than what?
Getting carried off by the thoughts of the mind and
Oh, yeah,
seeing
okay. So
worlds in
what
your
would be
head.
a practice to be in the state of mind. It's being quiet, because when you're quiet, you're in the state of mind called the witness. So what would be a practice to be quiet?
Listening to the sound between your ears.
Yeah, that's it. When you notice your mind's busy, if you just give yourself a good slap, that quiets your mind right away, and then you can get used to, oh, well, that's what it's like, and then see how long you stay there, and if your mind gets busy, slap yourself again. That's probably works the best. Do you have an idea about this?
I just bring myself back over and over again. If I know, I bring myself back over and over again, almost like noticing I've left my seat, I've left my awesome if I get carried away in thought, and I bring myself back and now present to the now. So I exercise a muscle.
I'm not sure what there is to think about. I don't,
Exactly, it's a whole bunch of nothing, so so you don't want to get carried off.
I don't think I've been thinking for a long time. I don't even remember a time
Yeah.
when I was thinking. Although I'm sure there was some time. I don't know. Was that a question?
Mm-mm. He was
Yeah, he shared a practice that
he was just sharing his practice.
What's that practice?
That he is, from what I heard, that he is wanting to see, based on there being 84,000 seconds in a day,
Yeah.
or seconds or moments in a day, how many of those moments can he be fully present to? And whenever he finds himself not present, to shorten the gap between coming back to being fully present in each moment.
Well, it seems like doing that's a busyness all by itself.
Yeah,
It seems
something
like
else for the mind to do.
being quiet is not a doing thing, it's a being thing.
That's a great answer.
Wait, he shared the way he gets back into or notices he's not quiet. Do you feel complete with that, or is there more?
That's it.
Ruta, we ask you? We asked you, didn't we?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
But
What
you're
do you want?
muted.
What?
Weren't you muted and we couldn't hear you?
at that time, yes. But you asked me, yes. And
Right.
now I'm not muted.
And Romana, what do you want to talk about?
I have a poem to share.
Oops,
Would you like to hear a poem?
Oh, let me see. We asked Garuda, we asked Pancha. So let's ask Clint, and then after that, we'll get back to the poem. Clint, what do you want to talk about tonight?
Shiva, and everybody muting when you're not speaking.
Waiting for Shiva and asking everybody to mute themselves when not speaking, because there's background noise.
Okay, so Romana, go ahead and read your poem.
How about Joshua and Shekhinah? They have
Where
not
are
met.
they? I don't see them. Oh, they're over there. They're actually in the room. Neither one of you have something to talk about tonight? Looks like Yeshua was sleeping.
What is the best way, or maybe a way, for someone to, in that quiet space of observing the mind, to be able to identify their own preferences or aversions or their 3Cs?
You mean to notice they have them?
Sure.
You mean when you're in a quiet state of mind, which is a witness, it's the observant state of mind, what's the best way to observe?
I guess the better question would be maybe when someone is not in a state of observing the mind and finds themselves in one of those 5 concepts, what could someone do to analyze whether they're in one of those preferences or aversions? Because I've become aware that just recently with what's been going on, I've become aware of preferences and aversions that without going through that experience, I wouldn't have been aware that they were there to begin with. That they were so running on autopilot that I wasn't conscious of them whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just like you're thinking you're you and you're not knowing there could be this choice or that choice.
I think that's why we have life, to give you the context to discover and bring things to the surface that are part of what separates you rather than what unifies you. It brings it to your attention, brings it to the surface. And then you can do your sadhana to resolve those back into their essential energy.
Did that answer your question? You sure? There's no more?
The only the only part that I reflect on is being aware that a lot of those things out there are me living in separation. I hadn't viewed it in that sense, and so being able to just become more aware of a state of being or things that bring me into feeling more of that state of union or love.
Which is quiet.
Yeah.
So if your mind gets busy, you're out of it. Shaken, you have something to talk about.
Is there an evolution beyond yoga?
Is there a what?
Is Dzogchen ultimate reality? Dzogchen?
Well, Dzogchen is quiet.
It's the path of no path, you could say. Being. If you have to put an adjective on it, being quiet. Or still, or empty.
There's no need to think if you can observe. If you can observe, you're seeing directly, which is the higher state of mind. And thinking is either or mind.
What comes after that?
Comes after.
Yeah, like higher dimensional beings were evolving into 5D beyond duality and into unity consciousness.
Into 5 Cs.
5D, 5 to the fifth dimension, fifth dimensional reality.
Well, I don't know what I've never heard of fifth dimensional reality. Have you?
Yes, I'm aware of people talking about it, but for me, I don't see any point talking about it until I can master three-dimensional reality and stay in the presence in this phenomenal world and stay in a unified state instead of a separated state or get caught up identifying with forms, situations and forms. And so all those things are maybe next to next to next, but I need to be right here, being with myself as I am and stabilizing a unified state.
They're not either or. It's not either third or fifth. It's both and. It's a manifestation of a certain level of consciousness that allows the perception that you're perceiving in a fifth dimensional way. And third dimension is the realization that you're functioning in a third dimensional way. And the perception of third dimension and the perception from fifth dimension of the third dimension is a different and yet simultaneous experience. The fifth dimension is an expanded awareness and a higher perspective, but it doesn't exclude the third dimension at all. As a matter of fact, it permeates it and changes it by its fifth dimensional qualities.
Does everybody know what fifth dimensional reality is? Which would mean you probably have to know what fourth dimensional reality was. Does everybody know about that?
Yeah.
No,
Anybody not know about that?
You can also Google it. It's explained very well on the internet. The fourth dimensional reality is the angelic realm. There are beings who are only focused in the fourth and above or the fifth and above. There are beings who exist in the 12th dimension, but they are completely aware of the third dimension as well as a simultaneous reality, because they aren't either or. Once you go beyond third dimensional reality, you've already transcended time. So the angelic realm and above, there is not a linear idea of time, although the linear idea of time is understood by them. Once you reach the higher levels of the dimensions, you experience yourself as a collective more than an individual. But it doesn't mean that you're not aware of yourself as an individual in a body in the third dimension. It just means that you have attained a level of perception of your beingness existing in a higher dimension at the same time your physical body is functioning in the third dimension. And you're aware of the difference, but they're not separate. Christ was conscious of his Christ consciousness. He was also conscious that he was in a body in the physical world. And he functioned in that world according to its laws. But it also meant that he was a being of Christ consciousness at the same time. Does that make any sense? Does that help you understand it?
Well, in this system of thought, How many dimensions are there?
They say they're infinite, but that you can't talk about it beyond a certain level because it's God consciousness and it's beyond words.
It's infinite. How many levels?
The universe is always expanding.
Okay, well, if it's infinite, that means how many could we talk about or identify or give a name to?
Well, there's a list I forget the number of the dimensions where it dissolves into God consciousness and it's not able to be spoken about or described. It's only experienced.
Where
I
is
think
this
it's
list?
just Google the dimensions on the internet and it'll come up with articles about the dimensions. Dimensions of consciousness.
I believe she's telling the truth. I have no reason to think she's not telling the truth.
No, she said the list is on the internet.
Uh-huh.
Well, do you want to show us the list?
No, I don't know where I first came across it, but I do know that it's available. I've been researching this for many, many years, over 50 years, the whole consciousness field. And so I'm not sure exactly where, but there are people that are giving podcasts on the topics on the TV channel Gaia and also on the internet on YouTube podcasts by various entities and beings who channel those dimensional beings. If you have a Roku stick and you go to Gaia channel, there's a whole series of interviews with fifth dimensional beings from various locations throughout the universe who identify themselves in that way, and other dimensional beings from other dimensions that also identify themselves that way. And the source of that information is on Gaia. Interviews with fifth dimensional beings. Very interesting material, but it's quite voluminous and you would have to research it at your own interest rate, the articles that appeal to you. But aside from the Gaia channel, there's a lot of it on the internet. You can just Google and hit the ones that you're interested in knowing more about. It doesn't have to become complicated, and you can decide for yourself how far down that rabbit hole you want to research, because it's an intense library of study. But because it was my focus of my doctoral work and my personal inspiration and curiosity, I've spent a lifetime researching it. And that's how I've come to the realization of those topics and what they mean in general. Fascinating.
Does everybody understand what Romana is talking about? Okay. Does anybody not understand what Romana is talking about? It looks like there are no people that understand or don't understand.
That's just fine. If there's an interest, then it'll be pursued to the goal of satisfying answers that would satisfy any individual at whatever level of interest they have in studying the dimensions of consciousness. But it is available.
Do you want to send everybody where they can find it available, like a link?
Not sure how to do that. I can just say if you Google dimensions of consciousness, you'll come up with probably at least 25,000 or more articles on that topic. If you're interested in a particular dimension, third dimension versus fifth dimension versus fourth dimension, you can just do them one at a time. If you're looking for a map of consciousness, just Google the 12 dimensions of consciousness or the 13 and find out how far it goes on the list and how it is described. And then you can pursue the links on each article to following your own interests. It's a topic that really requires an individual perspective. I can't imagine, because I'm interested in all of it, I can't imagine what another person's level of interest in the topic is. So it would be an individual pursuit of research on an individual basis, depending on if you're at all interested in learning more about what are the levels of consciousness and then how do they relate to the dimensions.
How many dimensions of consciousness have a name, or that you could give a name to, like a number, like number 1, a name, number 2, a name, number 5, a name, like that?
Not really. I don't think of it that way. In my experience, given my studies, it's more experiential at the level that I experience them at. But there is theories about it. It looks like Jim Museum just posted something he found about it. Yeah, posted something. If you want to follow the link, he found some link to go to.
Look, Marcita found it. There it is. Can you see it?
No.
Those tiny.
It's a flash of light.
Will you
Yeah.
take it up there
all you
closer
need.
so everybody can see it?
Point
Rashida,
right into your third eye.
can you read it?
Point right into your third eye.
Shekina, can you read it?
0D, an individual soul consciousness. First D is thoughts and ideas. Second D is different shapes and objects. Third D is objects in 3D space. 4D is timeline. 5D is different choices made by an individual in 4D or parallel universes,
Right,
which I think we're becoming aware of at this time is 5D.
right.
6D is collection of all possible choices by an individual's collection of all possible choices happening to objects, the multiverse. Everything together is 6D, which is beyond time space.
Everything beyond
7D.
4D is beyond time space. That's why 4D is the time space continuum, because at the 4th D, it absolutely disappears.
Etc.
Say it again.
Etc. Etc.
How many numbers are there, Shekina?
There's 12 on the picture that Marshita found.
What does it say about number 13?
There is not a 13 on the picture that Marshita found.
Okay, so 13 is the God realm, the God dimension, and it's beyond words and it's beyond description because it's a state of being where you are aware of yourself as God and in the all and in the one. So it's beyond the chart. That's what I thought. It only goes to 12.
Well, that'll be nice one day.
Well, you can talk to those beings if you want to go to their podcasts.
What did you say?
That'll be nice one day.
What?
To be
You
in
can do
13.
it. You can do it today. You
You
just Google.
That's the 13th dimension?
No, it's the 6th.
Just Google podcast with 12th dimensional being. Interviews with 12th
What
dimensional beings.
would it be like to be in the 13th dimension?
Beyond life, because you are life.
But
Beyond life.
it's
Beyond separation of thought or idea or form is
Well, that's called being quiet.
Ah,
When your mind is quiet, meaning it's not fragmented or moving, it's whole, that's where you are.
and that's
So,
why as an individual, it speaks to the individual choices made, and it has to be something that you're drawn to, just like whatever prayer came out of your heart that made you desire to know God. Whatever
God is quiet. God is the quiet. So
individual
easy to be
inspiration
quiet.
guides the way to knowledge. If the individual has an inspiration to learn more about something, they're guided that way. And the perfect book finds its way to you. These things have happened to everyone that I think are in this podcast here or this Zoom room, that there's an understanding of that. It's an individual choice that led each of us here at this moment and
So I
created
said, go ahead.
our individual experiences of our individual relationships with Mercy and Mershida, and our collective relationships as a Sangha and as a school, and all of the things that we are about. Commingling. It's really true, though. It's an individual situation and a collective situation of the transcendence through different levels of dimensions corresponding to different levels of consciousness.
Well,
We've all done
God.
it all. We've all been all of those things at some point. And because there's no time, we are simultaneously a part of the Earth Collective, a part of the Cosmos Collective, a part of our star seed origins, a part of our future in terms of third dimensional time. It would look like a future incarnation, and yet beyond fourth dimension, you pass through the time veil. It's all simultaneous. So we are all 12th dimensional beings at the same time. We're in a third dimensional body right now, having a human experience. But the other realms are not a closed door to any of us. If we tune our consciousness to that part of us that is 12th dimension and focus on that and grow our own understanding to encompass it, it reveals itself. Just like anything you focus your mind on and you focus your heart on and meditate on it, it appears into your understanding at whatever level you're at. That's why we do the practices, to expand our understanding and to grow. And those are just descriptions of the ways that we grow. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. I'm trying.
I think that's good. That was enough words to give it a good go, and as you say, people got it to the level they got it, and otherwise, meditate.
Right.
Okay. Let's see. We're ready for a poem.
All right. This poem is called Your Home. Your home is in our hearts. Welcome home. Sky dawns, chrome blue, blinding the stars. Crickets with their little engines running full tilt. Your face before me. I words by dawn dark. Your eyes like outer stars. Neither stern nor jovial, but perfectly still, with a terrible compassion. Around your face, your beard brambles with the light. You have entered my heart, like light entering into light, like light serving light, like one whole hand holding the other.
Would you read that one again?
Sure. Your home. Your home is in our hearts. Welcome home. The sky dawns, chrome blue, blinding the stars. Crickets with their little engines running full tilt. Your face before me. I words by dawn dark. Your eyes like inner stars. Neither stern nor jovial, but still with a terrible compassion. Around your face, your beard brambles with the light. You have entered my heart, like light arriving into light, like light serving light, like one hand holding the other.
That's beautiful. Would you read it one more time?
Sure. Your home is in our hearts. Welcome home. The sky dawns chrome blue, blinding the stars. Crickets with their little engines running full tilt. Your face before me. I words by dawn dark. Your eyes like inner stars. Neither stern nor jovial, but still with a terrible compassion. Around your face, your beard brambles with the light. You have entered my heart, like light shining into light, like light serving light, like one hand holding another.
Wow, amazing. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And that's in your book, right?
Yes, that's from my poetry book, Songs of a Soul.
Okay. Does anybody else have something they want to bring up? Well, let's see what Shiva wants to bring up.
Number 71. When some desire comes, consider it, then suddenly quit it. When some desire comes, consider it,
and then quit it.
then suddenly quit it.
That's pretty cool. When some desire comes, study it,
Consider it,
consider it, and then
then
quit it.
suddenly quit it.
Lazy. When some desire comes, consider it, and then suddenly quit it. That's brilliant. All right, well, thank you all for showing up. I love that we're hearing this beautiful poetry. And now Clint's going to take us out.
Hey.
I,
Hi,
I,
hi,
I,
computer, turn off.